Welcome to the Bronx County Historical Society. Today is Monday, August 28, 2023. My name is Pastor Crespo Jr. I'm the research librarian and the archivist here at the Bronx County Historical Society. Today, I will conduct an oral history with Miss Peaches and Curtis. Miss Peaches, would you like to introduce yourself and give us your full name?
Yes, my name is Petra Bayers, and I'm from Berlin, Germany, and I'm very grateful to be here.
Thank you. Curtis, would you like to introduce yourself?
My name is Curtis Common. I'm from Antigua and Barbuda. I was born in the Bronx. I grew up here. And I'm happy to be here as well.
Awesome. Great. Well, Miss Peaches, we'll begin with you.
Okay.
And, we usually like to ask everyone, to tell us about your family history and your background. Where are you from?
I'm from Berlin, Germany. I was born in Berlin. I'm the only one from 5 siblings who was born in Berlin. And this is how I grew up. This is where I grew up until I was 17. And then I left Berlin, went to the States for a few years, came back to Berlin and learned how to love Berlin.
Great. Could you tell us about, now you've moved around in Berlin. Could you tell us the neighborhood you grew up and maybe
Yes.
any other neighborhoods that, you experienced, and give us a little bit about the sights, the sounds, what's it like to be in those Berlin neighborhoods?
So I was born in Charlottenburg. I think it's a very family-oriented neighborhood, lots of kids. So I have a few years good memories. I came out of a very painful family. So I had a big tragedy happened in my childhood, and we had to move out of this area. We moved to Zehlendorf, Dahlem. Very nice neighborhood, very family oriented too. I think a lot of people with a little bit more money live there. We didn't have money.
And that was the American Quarter.
It was. So my mom used to own a restaurant there. This is why we moved there. So I always had to travel from Zehlendorf to Charlottenburg to go to school because I didn't want to change my school. So I took the bike every day. It took me 1.5 hours to get there. But I refused to be in the school in Zehlendorf. And I grew up in a bunch of areas. So from Zehlendorf, I went to Spandau because my brother lived there. I lived with him for a while. Then I moved back to Zehlendorf. Then I moved to Kreuzberg. So I've been in all these very nice areas. And then suddenly I was moved in it was a very poor area, very dangerous area. But I still had a good time.
Was there a large ethnic community in Kreuzberg?
Yes, in Kreuzberg, yes. Everybody from every country. It was very, very mixed, very international, very nice, but also very dangerous.
Got it. And what kind of music did you grow up listening to? And what decades were they?
So when I was moved to Kreuzberg, I was very young. I think I was about 13. So I've been moving around a lot. And like I said, I had this, I was really traumatized from something happened in my life. And I met Americans and hip hop. I got introduced to hip hop, and that was my home. I felt like home. I would really say that, well, I always say my son saved my life, but I think the first thing that saved my life was hip hop.
Wow.
It was like a family. It was like I felt like I finally had a family, and that was the hip hop family.
Okay. And what were the reasons that made you feel so welcomed by this hip hop genre?
It was just, I remember that I used to go to roller skating rings, and they played hip hop, R&B, and everybody was so warm and welcoming. And I was like, oh my God, I have never felt this in my life. And I think this is where my hip hop journey began. because it's like, it felt like family. I cannot even explain it. The music felt like family. The people felt like family. Everybody was together. It's different than these days. So it was just, this was my home. So I started going there like every day. And yeah, this
Wow.
is how my music journey began.
So, just like every other young teenager, more than likely your parents didn't listen to hip hop.
No,
What was their impression of this new music that you were enjoying?
I didn't live with my parents anymore
Okay.
because of what happened in my family. So I was surrounded by a lot of young people. And my older brother, listened to hip hop too. So I didn't really get away. It's like he loved it. So it's like my biggest LA Cool J is, up to this day, he was supposed to be my husband.
That love song he did threw everyone for a loop, huh?
And he always watches my stories on Instagram. Everybody in Berlin makes fun of that because he probably think, oh my God, this German woman is harassing me. But he was my favorite artist in the world.
Did you think about the very first time you heard of hip hop? When was it, and what was your first impression of this
It was at the roller skating ring. And I remember sitting there. I was very shy. And I was like, oh my God. And I remember getting up, putting the roller skates on, and I was like, oh my God. I just felt so good. It was just an inside feeling. And I remember going the rounds, and everybody suddenly came together, all the people, the Americans, the Germans. And that was like, we are united. Nobody really cares about color. It was just that moment, the music, the roller skating ring. It was so fantastic.
Wow. Wow, it sounds great. Now, you have a lot of passion and love for the Bronx. You've expressed it to me every time we meet, which is great. Where does this passion for the Bronx come from? How did it begin?
I honestly had to find that out myself because I didn't understand it either. So something happened in New York to me a few years ago, and I vowed to myself I would never enter New York anymore. I didn't want to come back here anymore. It really crushed me, felt really bad. And I would consider myself as a very strong woman. So one day I got up and I said, I have to go to the place where I lost myself to find myself. And I have to go to the Bronx. The reason I picked the Bronx, I've never been here, is because I felt like I grew up in the Berlin Bronx, Kreuzberg. So to ground myself, let's go back and find yourself. This is why I came here. And I was a little bit scared, to be honest. I have to be honest. The first few days, I was like, oh my God, what did I do? And then somebody advised me to start with the hip hop cafe, the Boogie Down Grind Cafe,
Okay.
because this person knew I love hip hop.
How long ago was that?
That was 2021.
Not that long ago.
No,
It's a couple of
right
years.
after COVID.
Okay.
I was here before COVID, but this whole journey started right after. They opened the doors, I think, for 3 days, and I was here.
That's awesome.
So I walked by the Boogie Down Grind Cafe, and it was really crowded. And I was like, no, I'm not, no. I was really feared. I was a little bit feared. I mean, this is another country. I was here by myself for the first time in the Bronx. So I called my daughter. I said, please walk with me in the cafe on video. I walked in there talking German. Everybody turned around, and I never left the Bronx. This is really how it started. It's like everybody was so wonderful. I met so beautiful people here. And this is when I had to find out, okay, why are you so attached? Why? Why this place? Why do you feel like home here? Because I really felt like home. And I cannot tell you. I feel like this is how I grew up. I think I lost I don't know, maybe I was born here before. Maybe I lived here before. Maybe my soul had to find the Bronx. I cannot tell you, but I feel so much at home here. I feel sometimes more at home here than at home.
Wow.
And this is when I started realizing, okay, I have to do something. This is big for me. I have to really express myself.
Wow. So tell us, you're responsible for this great program that I learned of a few months ago. This Bronx to Berlin internship with KISS FM 98.8
Right,
in Berlin.
right.
Tell us, how did that start?
Yeah.
How did you get the idea for this internship program? And did I get the name right?
Yes, perfect. Perfect. Well, I decided to write a book about the Bronx, and I interviewed a lot of people, and while writing it, I always felt like that there's some missing. And I was at some kind of job thing with my daughter. She wanted to look at some in Berlin, and Kiss FM had a stand there. And I know Kiss FM very well because I had a radio show on there. And I was talking to the boss, and he asked me, "What are you doing in the Bronx all the time? I always see you in the Bronx." And then we were talking, and we were just joking around. And then I said, "We should do something big." And he said, "Yes, we should do something big." But he's always playing. And I was like, "How about we bring an intern?" "Yes, how about you bring an intern?" And I was like, "I'm serious now. I'm not playing." Because he was playing. I was like, "I'm doing this." And he was like, "Well, if you can pull it together, then let's talk again." So we left, and I told my son, and my son was like, "This is not. He's just." So I tried to put this idea into reality, went to his desk and said, "So what's up? Are we going to do this?" And he said, "If I can make it happen, they will make it happen." And from that point on, I was like, "Oh, I'm going to make this happen. I will make it happen." So I didn't know how. I came back to the Bronx, was talking to Monjaro and James from the Boogie Down Grind Cafe.
Right.
And I said, "I want to do this. Why don't we do this at the cafe? Why don't we do a contest?" So everything kind of fell into place. I didn't really have a concept. I probably didn't do everything perfect because it's like a pilot. But this is how we started. We did the contest. I went back home. I said, I was supposed to pick 3 finalists. I picked 4 because I couldn't decide. So things did not get, were not perfect. I wanted to pick the half of the crowd. And from there it went. I came back, had the announcement. And when Kiss FM realized she's really making this happening, we have to then they provided the shirts. They made a video. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I thought I turned it off.
That's all right.
They provided the shirts, and they sent an interview for the winner because I said I cannot announce the winner.
Mhm.
I said I cannot be the bad person.
Right.
I was feeling really bad because I liked everybody, and and I'm very happy, that I'm coming here to pick Curtis. I was very pleased with Curtis to be the winner because everybody had to write a bio when I came back home, and I had interviews with the people they will live with. So I'm very, very pleased that Curtis got picked because my family is involved in this. So it's a big, hard project for me.
Great. Now, the internship, are you able to kind of tell us what the internship entails? So when Curtis gets to Berlin, what are going to be his duties, his roles, and responsibilities?
Oh,
What is that internship going to be? The entire breadth, if you know it.
I know everything,
Talk to us
but
about
he's
it.
not supposed to know it.
Oh no, just tell us those things that
Okay. He's going to be a little rock star.
Okay.
He will have so much fun that no intern has ever had who worked there. He's going to have his own Bronx category, where he knows that already. So they're going to compare. We had to shoot a lot of pictures and videos over here. They're going to compare a lot of places from the Bronx to Berlin. And he's going to be part of shows. He's going to be part of podcasts.
Sure.
He's going to be a part of a lot.
Wow. But what I've heard is you're gonna have your own show as an intern. That is gonna be awesome. And we'll get to Curtis in a bit. I know he's excited to talk to us about all that stuff. So what do you know any of the types of work and education that the intern can expect to perform? The things that you can share with us?
I think he's going to learn everything from A to Z. So in the background, up front, the shows, he's going to be outside, not just in the studio, because Kiss FM is a lot outside. They do a lot of stuff with young people. So he's going to be involved in that. I think wherever they can, they're going to involve him. So I think he's going to be very busy. I think my family's going to be involved a little bit in it too. They made fun already. They said, because my son is German American, and they said they're going to bring the German American and the American together. So it's going to be a lot of work. It's going to be a lot of different work. I cannot just say everything because he's not supposed to know everything.
No worries.
I mean, you could give a little teaser.
He'll be surprised.
I gave teaser already. He's going to have fun.
Awesome. Now, 98.8 Kiss FM in Berlin is going to sponsor the Berlin side of the house.
Right.
But you were able to get some help and some assistance here from some local Bronx sites.
Right.
Do you want to tell us about your Bronx sponsors?
Yes.
And what they've done and their part in the internship?
So, my first really nice and beautiful encounter was at the Boogie Down Grind Coffee shop. So for me, the Boogie Down Grind Coffee shop is always going to be the most important thing for me in the Bronx, because this is where my journey started. This is why I went to Major and James, the owners, and suggested, why don't we do the contest at the coffee shop? Because this is where my journey started, and I think we should do it there. They loved the idea, so this is where we did everything, the contest. And I know we had a jury, and I cannot even tell you the names because it was put together so fast that I was really overwhelmed. We had this big jury, Grandmaster Theodore.
Yes.
Grandmaster Theodore, right.
A pioneer of hip-hop.
Right. And it was put together so fast that, I just got here and it was put together so fast and I was really overwhelmed and I didn't really know what to do. It was a big thing for me too. I got nervous. Mm-hmm. But they did a lot. They helped a lot. I was able to do a lot there. We had the announcement at the coffee shop too, because it was so important for me to just make, I wanted people to know this is my journey. This is where it started. This is why I wanted them to be in there. Amara's from the Bronx Native Shop was there too. So I was very happy he was involved.
What's his name?
Amara's. I know I'm not saying that right. Okay. Am I saying that right? Yeah. He was involved, and I was very grateful because I know he knows half of the Bronx. I mean, he probably knows all the Bronx. I don't know. But I know people love his shop. His shop is awesome. And this is why I decided we had a little event at his shop on last Friday.
Okay.
Because he sponsored Curtis.
What's the name of the shop?
Bronx Native Shop. He sponsored Curtis with some Bronx Native clothes to take to Berlin. So when he said that, I suggested, so you sponsoring the clothes, why we don't do a little goodbye event for Curtis without him knowing. So we surprised Curtis last Friday with his friends at the Bronx Native Shop.
Wow. And now we'll get to the winner of the Bronx to Berlin internship program being sponsored by 98.8 Kiss FM Berlin. is Curtis. How you doing, Curtis?
Feeling great.
Awesome. Thank you for being here with us today. Could we start out by telling us again? I know you touched on it. Give us again your family history and background and where your people are from.
So I was born in the Bronx.
Okay.
My parents are from Antigua and Barbuda. So, they decided to take me there to raise me because they thought the Bronx was very dangerous. So I grew up there until I was like about 16. After that, I trickled my way back to the Bronx. After that, I trickled my way back to the hustle and bustle of the Bronx. I started working at the Boogie Down Grind Cafe.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was working there for a little while. Then I left and went to college in Alabama. So I went to Oakwood University where I was studying speech pathology and audiology. So I took a few communication classes, but growing up in Antigua, spending half of my life in Antigua and half in New York really made me appreciate the diversity between the two. And it really kind of like molded the person I am right now. And from there, I started to like always wonder, because growing up I was always like in love with music. I loved hip hop, classical music, rock. I listened to all type of music, so I always had a passion for music. I was a part of a choir, an orchestra, and I also formed a rap group in high school.
Okay.
So that was like really interesting for me. When I came to New York and then I went to college in Alabama, I kind of like honed in on my communication skills a bit because that was my major. But I never really continued past my associates because I felt like that wasn't really my purpose. I felt like there's another way I wanted to help people. So yeah, like I always wanted to have my own podcast. I always wanted to be on a radio station. So I thought this opportunity was just like perfect for me. You know what I mean? So I found out about this opportunity from a friend of mine. And, they told me, hey, this person's having a great internship opportunity. They're having a competition. You should go to this competition and see what happens. So I went there, and just like all of the other competitors, I met Petra. And, when she came in to the cafe, when she came into the cafe, she came in with this bright smile. Like, she was just smiling. But I noticed, like, the smile never left her face for the entire time she was there. And I just wondered, like, what's happening right? Why is she so happy? You know what I mean? So it, like, really made me want to find out more about her. So, I spoke with her for a little bit. And she told me about her plans and da-da-da-da-da. And, I really kind of, like, resonated. I feel like I resonate with people who don't like conform to like society, and when they have a dream, there's no plan B. There's no plan B, there's only plan A. Like, you stick to what you believe and you go for it. So like her story really resonated with me. So like from there was the competition. There was 30 competitors. I was super nervous. I really didn't 30. And yes. I really didn't think I was gonna be picked. And my friend just kept telling me like, you're gonna do this, just stop, relax, calm down, it's gonna happen if you believe it. And I was still doubting myself. I was like, I don't know, there's 30 people here, they're all so talented, they're all so good, so I don't know. And then my name called and I had a mini heart attack, I'm not gonna lie. My name was called. I was shocked. I didn't know what to expect, but then I was just like, okay, there's still 3 other competitors. So who knows what will happen. To this point, I still didn't believe I was going to be picked. So now the final competition comes around, and Petra played the video of the radio station announcing the winner. Mm-hmm. And they said Curtis, and I just couldn't believe it. I literally almost passed out. But I'm super grateful for this opportunity to be able to like represent the Bronx. And I think this is going to be a huge change for my life. I think it's going to go in the right direction. So I'm really happy and honored for this opportunity. So
Great. Now, at what age again did you come to the Bronx?
so I was around 16, 17, going on 17.
Okay.
That's the age I came here. So I spent about almost half of my life in Antigua, and the other half here.
I want to cap because the Bronx, New York City, is home to one of the largest Caribbean, diasporas in the world,
Yeah.
if not the largest. So I'm really interested. Could you talk to us about your earliest memories in Antigua? What was it like?
It felt free. I mean, I felt like I was never restricted. I could do what I want when I wanted to. So, I mean, it was a lot different from here. Like in the Bronx, you have to be very careful about what you do and how you do things because there's always somebody watching you. In the Caribbean, it's just like you can kind of be free, just let go, let loose. So that was like the big difference to me.
What kind of music did you listen to in
That-
Antigua?
That is a good question.
Yeah.
It's like I said earlier, I listened to so many different types of music. I used to, like I said, I was in an orchestra, so I really got into classical music, Beethoven, stuff like that. Then it was a little bit of rock, and I feel like everybody has that phase in their life where they just gotta listen to some rock music to get some anger out. And then it got to hip hop. And hip hop just changed it for me. I mean, I started off with old school hip hop, so I was listening to people like Curtis Blow, not just because he has the same name as me, but I was listening to Curtis Blow. I really like that song he made called Basketball. Then I also liked Will Smith. I know a lot of people don't consider him as a hip hop artist, really, but I really liked Will Smith. Then it got into the more modern rap music. I don't even classify it as hip hop anymore. It's just rap. And yeah, I would say that's around like all of the genres I really listen to.
Now, growing up, and we always like here in the Bronx, growing up as kids, people would play, Johnny on the Pony or, Skelzies. What neighborhood games did you play in Antigua? Do you remember as a young child, elementary school? What was popular?
Neighborhood games? Explain.
Yeah, like we used to play Manhunt. They used to call it Ringalivio, where it's like tag, but it's groups.
That's interesting. I mean, we used to play a lot of hand tennis.
Okay.
So it was like you would stand up on each side of the court and we would just, use our hands to play tennis. We used to play a lot of hand tennis. Nothing really unique like that. But yeah, it's hand tennis, basketball, soccer.
What were just some of the favorite foods and meals in
So
Antigua?
we have a national dish called fungi and pepper pot. So it looks kind of like a potato, but it's yellow. And pepper pot is basically soup, but it has like a ridiculous amount of greens in it. So it's a lot of spinach, a lot of different greens just mixed up together. So that was like our national dish, and people would come just for that. You know what I mean? So.
Are you able to get that in the Bronx?
Oh, absolutely not. You can't find it. You have to go to Antigua. You have to.
Wow, that is really cool.
That's one of the things I miss for sure.
Amazing. Now, what kind of music did your parents listen to?
So, my parents were like really religious, so like gospel. Yeah, so my choice of music was didn't really gravitate to it. They didn't agree with it. But.
No, I get it. Now, when you first got here to the Bronx, what neighborhood did you first, come to? Can you tell us about your memories about that neighborhood when you first got there? What did you think?
Yeah, so when I got to the Bronx, I was staying with my cousins. They lived around Brook Avenue.
Okay.
Yeah, so I lived around there for about 4 years, and then I ended up moving to White Plains. So it's like second to last stop on the two line. And
Now, Brook Avenue's big, so where on Brook Avenue?
I was on 140th Street.
Okay.
There's a cafe that just opened up across from where I used to live called Motley's. So it was around that area. Now I live around the Reed Avenue, I won't give.
No, of course.
Of course not, right? And it's very different. It's two very different neighborhoods. I feel like 140th Street is a lot more quiet.
Around what year was that?
So it was around 2018.
2018?
That's when I finally like moved from 140th Street, and then went down to New Avenue. So it was like 4 or 5 years ago.
Okay. All right. Can you tell us about Narade Avenue, your current neighborhood?
It's very loud. It's very hard to get sleep over there. And I spoke with.
Oh.
That's actually why I don't get a lot of sleep.
Oh.
Reminds me of the Heights.
Yeah, so it's always partying, always clubs.
He would get a lot of sleep in Berlin.
Hopefully.
Any, I know this is not long ago, any gang activity, any... No, not much. Great. Now, when did you first hear, I know you talked to us, but when did you first hear about Miss Peaches and the Bronx to Berlin internship? I know you said you heard it through a friend.
Yeah, it would be around there. Yeah, that's the first time I heard about it. Like the internship?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the first time I heard about it.
But
It kind of just popped out of nowhere, right? So
it really did. It popped out of nowhere.
Right.
Because, like I said, it's like was a pilot, and there was no plan to it. No plan at all. I think if I could do it again now, it would be much more structured. So it was like, yeah, I want to do a contest. Let's do a contest. We didn't even advertise it a lot. This is why I actually thought there's not going to be a big show up. I was so overwhelmed when in this little coffee shop, more and more people came, and I got really nervous, and I was like, oh my God, I have to judge people. I don't want to judge people. I'm very bad at turning people down.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I think I'm a bad judge because I want to make everybody happy. But I think it was just word to word, right?
Yeah.
It's like a lot of
It went
people
around.
told a lot of people. And then I think we just advertised it 2 days before it actually happened.
Wow.
I think if we would have advertised it like really structured, we would have needed a bigger place than the coffee
Yeah,
shop.
because it was really surprising to see the turnout, to say that it was just 2 days,
Yeah.
Before the actual event. So a lot of people showed up.
Yeah. And I still have contact with people who showed up. They stayed in contact with me. Really, really nice. Always ask me for advice and are you going to do this again? So very, very nice people.
Great. So what's next, Curtis? I mean, I know you're anxious.
Next is Berlin. And we'll see where it goes from there.
Petra, do you know where in Berlin he'll be staying?
Of course. He stays.
That's not a surprise.
No. It's like I had to organize a place for him. Otherwise, this wouldn't have not worked. And I even said, if it comes to worst, he's gonna have a room in my house. And then my daughter has a big apartment with friends, and she said, no, he's staying with us. So before that was final, they interviewed every finalist. So they have to get along with the person they live with, and even the person who would win have to get along. So he's staying in a very lively area, but not loud because the apartment is like in the back somehow, but in a very nice area, very young area, coffee shop after coffee shop, bar after bar, club. He will love it.
Sounds like Prince Lauerberg.
He will love it. He will love it. And which is very good that the apartment is placed in that area because it's only one bus that takes him straight from the house to the radio station.
What neighborhood is that?
Schöneberg. He's gonna stay in Schöneberg. Mm-hmm.
Got it.
So Schöneberg is the new it place. Like Kreuzberg is the new it place actually. There's parts of Kreuzberg expensive and it's an it place, and Schöneberg is coming up for young people, for just to have a good time.
Awesome, awesome. Anything that you can tell us that you have planned on his stay?
Oh, we have so many plans. Ridiculous. We really have a lot of plans. So we
Okay.
have some planned already the day he's landing, but I cannot tell him. So I just told him, even if you're tired, I'm tired too. So we have some planned the day he's landing.
Great.
He's gonna be shocked too. So with the radio station together, and later on, not with the radio station, my daughter planned things out for him to be good there. So he will see a lot of Berlin through the radio station since they're outside. Oh yeah, one thing I told him already, we're gonna go to a football game on Sunday because it's gonna be American football.
Okay.
Because it's gonna be the final game. And Kiss FM is sponsoring.
There is a European football league in Berlin.
Yes, Berlin Thunder.
I remember.
Berlin Thunder. And Kiss FM is sponsoring the football league. And yeah, we are going there.
Awesome, awesome. And is the game still at the Olympic Stadium?
No, it's not at the Olympic Stadium. It's, I don't even know. Somewhere, Jan Sportstadion. So it's in the east. It's in the east.
Okay. Great, great.
Yes. So, and we plan to go there Sunday.
Now, Curtis, what do you think out of all the questions and interviews during the selection process? What do you think it was that they focused on you? You know, can you tell us a little bit of that you shared that got you selected?
That's a very good question. In fact, that's a question that I wanted to ask you.
Yeah, but I know why you got picked, so I know.
I don't know. I feel like I might have probably offered something that the radio station maybe offer some qualities that the radio station likes. I'm not quite sure exactly why they would choose me, but I am pretty lovable.
There you go. Then maybe that's it. Maybe that's your confidence that they picked up on. You know. But before I get to Petra, you have any plans, any ideas yourself that you have for this internship? You know.
Well, I would love to come back to New York after the internship and get a job at a radio station. I think that would be awesome. In terms of radio stations, and I'm manifesting this right now. Hot 97.
You hear that?
Hot 97.
They'll be watching this on YouTube.
Save a spot for me, please.
Sounds good. Any other things you'd like to share about the internship and this whole Berlin to Bronx to Berlin bridge that you've established?
Yeah, I have to say I'm actually, it's like, I'm really proud of that. I done it. It's like he's going with me. It's like that's so amazing for me. And if I just play a little tiny role in his life, I know that's a little tiny important role, and it just makes me happy. I just wanted to say we chose him. It was very funny. We had a lot of meetings in Berlin with the radio, lots of meetings, tiring meetings. And everybody was always like, Curtis, go to Kiss FM. Curtis, go to Kiss FM. This is how we always, and the people who work there, Curtis goes to Kiss FM. That sounds fantastic. So, and they wanted to, they of course ask me. I videotaped the interviews, and Curtis had a very good vibe. I'm a very big energy person. So he had this calmness about him that I really liked, because you have to be calm this is another country. So of course excited, but you do have to be calm. So I loved his answers. He was the only one from all 30 people who was talking about being interested in a radio station. And then I was like, oh my God, he really listens. So he know what we're doing. So a lot of people were, I think a lot of people took this wrong. They thought they can be famous there. They can perform. they, just, I think they forgot it's an internship. And he was so focused on the radio when I asked him questions. And I really liked that. So I was like, okay, he really know what this is about. And I have to say, I really loved his calmness, his energy. He was a little bit nervous, a little bit shy nervous, but that was so, I liked it. So it was normal for him. So, and the feeling I had from him when he wrote his bio, he wrote a bio for Kiss FM. He's the only one who did it with a picture and text, and he really wanted this. So I think this is what makes the radio say, oh, he's the only one who's really trying to really impress us. So yeah, he did. he did really good. And for me, it's like I said, it just started as an idea. It came into reality. I still can't believe it, to be honest. And I want to really close the circle now, because I want to bring somebody from Berlin to the Bronx. Yes.
Nice.
Yes. So I just decided this is like, because so many people came up to me while I'm here, and I have to be honest, I'm still shocked when people tell me, are you the girl who did this and this? And I was thinking like, yes. It's like so big for people, and it was just this, I just wanted to make someone smile.
Right.
And now I feel like, why don't I make someone smile in Berlin too? Because we have people who could really use this. And I want people to see what I saw. I want people to see the Bronx the way I see the Bronx. And this is why I want to bring someone here.
Wow. Wow, that is so amazing. Anything else you like to share us? Maybe talk to us about those sponsors. I know you mentioned Majora Carter and,
right,
and her husband James, who owned the Boogie Down Grand Cafe, and they sponsored the actual event, the contest.
But they don't really know. I went to them, and I honestly went to them and I said, we should do it in your cafe, because I think your cafe was the first place that I met, and it will gain for you when I bring people here. I wanted to do something. I wanted to give some back to them.
Great.
That was the whole idea. It was not. I just offered it. I said I could have done this in a different way. I could have did it online. Like I said, it was just an idea. I knew I'm going to do that, but since the coffee shop is so important to me, because it gave me some I lost, I decided to go to Major and James and said, I would love to do it here, and it's good for the coffee shop. And they actually brought the Bronx native shop into it. They said, oh, we know this guy, a really nice guy. Everybody loves him. Everybody loves the shop. And he loved the idea too. He said, I'm in.
Great.
Yeah, and that's how we really came together.
And he sponsored, he gave you a lot of Bronx gear.
Could you
talk to us about the gear he gave you, Curtis?
So I'm wearing one right now. This is their limited edition hat. You know what I mean? It has the pins. I love the pins. This is just one of 3 hats that they gave me. They also gave me a few shirts and a hoodie.
Yes.
So you're going to be representing the Bronx, right?
Of course. Make sure you get the logo.
That is awesome. That is awesome. So, talk to me a little more about the next stage and the kind of reversing it and bringing is it going to be a young is it Berliner?
It has to be a Berliner.
Okay.
It has to be. I don't want it to be. It's like, because I'm bringing the Bronx to Berlin, I want to bring Berlin to the Bronx now. I just think it would be fair to bring my city over here. So the idea just came, just like this idea came in my head. The idea came in my head, and I was like, why just this way? We should do it the other way too. And the idea honestly came because somebody reached out to me. His name is DJ Hectic. He's from the Bronx.
Okay, DJ Hectic.
Mm-hmm. He has a show on BronxNet once a week.
Okay.
And he reached out to me and said he's in Berlin. He's from the Bronx. If I would like to link up, I was like, yeah, let's meet. So he just wanted to hear about the project.
So DJ Hectic is a Berlin contact.
No, he's
Okay.
from the Bronx.
Got it.
He had gigs in Berlin.
Got it.
They hired him. He heard about my project, hit me up on Instagram, and said, I heard about your project, would really like to talk to you about it. Would you care to meet? And I was like, yeah, why not? You know, I checked out his Instagram and everything, if he's safe.
Of course, of course.
So we met, and this turned into a complete whole day. So we met, had lunch, and then he said, I want to, this project is so wonderful. I want to take you around Berlin to the people you should meet. So he helped me meet people that work on project with young people. And this is how the idea came. Why don't I, they all loved it. They all loved the project. So I was like, why don't I just help people to get out of here who have never seen the world? Because we have enough of young people who have never seen the world and who would love to experience the Bronx.
I agree. Is there maybe a radio station here on this end that you're going to make a connection with?
And you know, this is what we just talked on the way here, that as soon as there's so many things in my head right now I want to do. So I really want to turn this into something bigger. I want to do the Berlin Bronx, and then I want to do the Bronx Berlin again. But I had to show some first. I have some to show now. This worked. So you cannot never have people jump on the boat with you unless you show it worked. But it worked. And once I get home now, I'm going to settle everything together. I'm going to contact radio stations over here. I'm going to contact, I don't know, TV station. I want to contact so many people. If just one is going to jump on the boat with me, I'm going to contact people in Germany. I know I will always have Majoran James behind me. Like I said on Friday too, if it wouldn't have been for the Boogie Down Grind Cafe, this project would not exist. Because if I would have not found their coffee shop, this idea would have never came out. So my gratefulness will always go out to them, mostly to them, to their shop. Because I always wanted to open a hip hop cafe when I was young. That was my dream.
Okay.
When I walked in there, I called my son. I was like, I just walked into my dream. And this was supposed to happen. I really believe it was supposed to happen. And the rest just fell into place. And I feel like everything else is going to fall into place too. This is in my head. And I believe you can make everything happen you want to happen. You should never stop when an obstacle comes. And I had a lot of obstacles thrown my direction.
Mm-hmm.
People wanted me to stop this.
Could you talk maybe a little about, if you can, about any of the obstacles and barriers?
It's just people gave me a lot of difficult times. It's like try to, you know, it's like a lot of people didn't believe that I don't have gain from this. So a lot of people like question me.
What's the motive?
Right.
The real motive.
Right. What's the motive? Right. So first people thought I get money for it. I didn't. I don't. And then it was like, but what is her? There's just really one simple answer. It's like, I survived life a lot of times. And I'm very grateful that I did. So why not giving happiness to other people? Because I think this is what it's all about. And I really believe if I give out from my heart, I get it back somehow. And even a smile is sometimes worth more than a lot of money. And people just don't realize that. It's like, I had so many happy faces in this journey, so many smiles. And people will always try to throw bricks in your way, but I know how to climb over mountains. So I was mad a few times. But I climbed over the mountain, and I have very, very, very special kids who are very proud that I did this, and I know every time I was mad, my kids always said, "You are not a woman who let anybody stop you," and that's true. I don't.
Were any of the negativity from the
It was the Bronx
Berlin?
too. No, Bronx too. It was the Bronx. It was Berlin. But I have to say, when some negative comes, it always comes like big.
Mhm.
But the beautiful part was way bigger. So the negative will always be there. It's just a challenge for you to move further. So the beautiful part was bigger, and the response was more beautiful than negative. It really was. I'm still amazed how much people. I was yesterday with a friend. She painted a wall,
Mhm.
and so many people knew about this project, and I was like, oh my
Who
god.
painted? Just so I know.
Olga.
Olga. Oh, yes.
Yeah, Olga painted.
Yes.
And Olga,
She's a pioneer of graffiti.
she is, and she was the first one actually who told me when I started this project. We were sitting outside on a bench, and she looked at me and she said, "Girl, you don't even know this is bigger than you think." And I was just laughing. I was like, "No, this is." For me, it was just like, "No, I'm not doing nothing. I'm just." And she said, "Oh, yes, you do." So she was always on my side. Very grateful for that too.
Awesome. She is an awesome artist,
She is.
street artist,
She
graffiti
is.
artist, and just artist in general. I mean,
Amazing.
the high heel shoes
Amazing.
that she created for one of her shows with her long
With her long
signature
hair and
braided-
her red lipstick.
Yes.
Yes.
And it makes you have some really great contacts in here. No one to show you the Bronx better than someone
I
like
know.
Olga.
And I'm telling you, Olga been around with me everywhere. She introduced me to so many nice people. Unbelievable. So yeah, I'm very grateful I'm so grateful for her. She calls me her sister for life. She's my sister for life too.
That is so awesome.
Yes.
So you spend a lot of time with her when you come here
A lot.
to Berlin.
This trip
I mean,
now,
to the Bronx.
this trip now, we see each other so much. She's the first person I saw, and she mostly is always the last person I see before I leave.
Mm. That is awesome.
And we always stay in contact. Always.
That is great. Anything else you'd like to include? Message you want to get across?
Yeah, I'm really happy. First of all, I'm really happy we picked Curtis. I got to know Curtis a lot more during the time, the gaps, when I was in Berlin, because we messaged, we talked, and I told him the other day that every time he sent me a message and I seen his name, I was always so feared he cancel. I was so feared. My daughter was always making fun of me. I was like, I want this to work out so good. And I could have even understood because I worked with people before I had to travel a lot. People get feared, overwhelmed. And every time I read his message, I was like, oh, thank God. I just want to say that this was the best, really the best 2 years of my life. I grew so much on this project. I had so many people, awesome people who believed in me, especially in the Bronx. More in the Bronx than in Berlin. I mean, my kids are my biggest fans, so we take them aside, but people in the Bronx believed in me. This German woman who just came over here with with not even have an idea why she's loving the Bronx. I'm just so grateful. I'm grateful I met the Bronx. I'm grateful for everybody I met here. And I'm grateful that I feel like home here. I really feel like home here. Every time I'm in Berlin, it's like I have to come back because I miss it.
We're happy to have you here in the Bronx.
Thank you.
Very well.
And I'm happy to take him away for a little while because I am so happy to show someone from the Bronx my word. And I just feel like a lot of people, don't have the chance to do that. I wish if I could, really, if I could, and if I have the funds, I would love to do that for a lot of people, because I think people deserve having this kind of opportunity.
I think I'm trying to run through, and I'm like, all these mechanisms. How can I help? How can I help? We'll talk, Miss Peaches.
So I'm really grateful. I'm really happy. I cannot tell you how happy I'm to be on the plane with him on Thursday. I probably cry when I see him getting out, meeting the rep. I'm probably going to cry, because this is really, it's like, it's this big thing for me that I don't even know how I did it. Honestly, I don't know.
Passion.
So, but I did.
Awesome.
You're making me cry right now. To be honest with you.
That's all right, Curtis. Talk to us. What's going through your mind now? You're ready to go.
A lot. Way more than I can share on camera, if I'm to be honest
I
with
hear
you.
you.
You know, I'm really excited. The plane ride, I heard, is gonna be a long one, but you know, I'm prepared. I'm ready mentally. I think this is gonna be a great opportunity, and I'm excited to see what happens, because you're thinking about continuing this project,
Yes.
doing it again. So I'm excited to see what it looks like. It might even be better for the next person.
I don't know how, but I know I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
I didn't know how the first time either. So it's like, somehow I think this is, you know, I really believe in destiny. I think I really believe that destiny brought me to the Bronx, because the feeling I have about the Bronx is not normal. Well, it probably is normal, but it's not explainable. And the way I feel home in my heart here is not explainable either. I feel like I lived here before. And I just feel when you know, I did this, I can do anything. So I'm bringing one country to another country without having any funds, without having any idea, without having anybody, you know. So if I'm able to do this, I'm going to be able to do some other stuff too.
Awesome. And that's a great little segue for, you know, we like to end all our oral histories with one question, and I'll ask you both.
Mm-hmm.
Miss Peaches, what does the Bronx mean to you?
The Bronx means home to me, family, comfort. Yeah, just like coming home. It feels like coming home every time I come here. And it doesn't matter. I mean, I stay in Hunts Point. So for
Home.
But for a German, you've been to Berlin. So, you know, staying in Dahlem, Hunts Point and Dahlem is not very you cannot compare. But I feel like home. And I think it's the people of the Bronx that make me feel home, really home. And when we had this event on Friday in the Bronx, I felt like this is my home. So my goal is to have an apartment here in Berlin. When I started this journey, I said to my daughter, I want to live like that. I want to have an apartment here and there, because I just feel too much like home here.
That's awesome. Curtis.
Yeah, well,
What
for me,
does the Bronx mean to you?
For me, the Bronx is my home away from home. You know what I mean? I honestly think, like, if you can make it in New York, you really can make it anywhere.
That's what Jay-Z says.
I'm not quoting him myself. Yeah, but for the time I've been here, like, it's been really rough, but I understand now that all of it was for a reason. It was just to strengthen me, and both physically and mentally. And the Bronx has a way of doing that to you. So, you know, I'm super grateful for being able to be a part of all of this.
That is so awesome. And I really want to thank both of you, Miss Peaches, Petra, and Curtis. And again, congratulations, Curtis. And congratulations to you, Petra, for making this all happen.
Thank you.
Obviously, there was a lot of help along the way.
Yes.
But it would not have happened if it wasn't for you.
Thank you so much.
No, thank you guys.
And thank you for having us.
Great. the Bronx County Historical Society, signing off. Peace.